Okay, here we go. So this is Mr. Button. It's a new and improved Mr. Button. We had for many years at North another Mr. Button that was just the most awful machine you would ever want to use. The buttons never came out straight. You had to put all your weight on it, and most people, their weight wasn't enough. And you thought the table was going to break, and people were jumping on it. It was just awful. So we got a new machine now that works perfectly. Now this is a cutter, okay, and it's going to cut the circle out that's going to match the size of the button we need it to be. And it's got this little plastic template that's become kind of a pain. But as long as it's laying in there flat, it works okay. So I'm going to do his fun button, the circle of whatever. And what you do is you look down over the top of the cutter and you'll see the template, the black ring in there. And it may not touch your picture exactly, but you can manipulate it so that it is centered. Your picture is centered to where it's going to cut. And I got to make sure, I'll do this again, make sure the metal is under there, otherwise you're going to cut the table. And then metal plate, you come in here and center it. And then the key to this is hold down the base and give this like 2 turns around. And you're putting pressure down on the handle, pretty good amount of pressure. And you let up, and then it cuts the ring out. Okay, and we have the ring. Okay. So we come over to Mr. Button. There's 2 pads, if you would, where you're going to put it on. There's a deep dish and there's a shallow dish. We're going to start with the shallow dish, and we make sure that this is all the way over to the side. And then we take one of these little metal backers and we drop it in there. And then we take our circle of life picture, and what I do is I make sure this is over tight, and then I look at the bottom base where it's straight here, and I line up my text with my eye so that it's straight here. Okay? And then when I think it's fairly straight, there's a little bit of eye work there. It's not, there's no marks to really go by. So I think that looks pretty good. Okay? And then I'll put my Mylar, this is a little plastic covering that protects the paper, picture, put that over. Any other little manipulating you need to do at this time, that's the time to do it. And then what I do is I rotate this around, and then I take the handle and compress the Mylar in the picture. What it did right now is it compressed the picture around this and the plastic Mylar, and it's actually bent down. It's not flipped under yet, but it's bent straight down. And there's probably a little more paper below this and Mylar below this metal tab. I know what that looks like. I can't see it here, but I remember my old button maker, and that was that first step as you bent it around. This one does 2 steps in one that the other machine used to do from here on out, and that is crimping the whole thing around this pin back. This has got the pin that you stick on your shirt. This is the inside, and this is the back. So you got the inside to be up. Just lay it into this compartment. Once again, I look at the bottom of my Mr. Button, and I look at the pin, and I go straight across with this pin. Okay, straight as I can with this edge. Make it run parallel. Okay, so I get that in there. All looks pretty good. I just got to let it go. It gets so a little bit OCD. Let it go. And then what I do is rotate this around, drop it again, right where it clicks like that. Not real hard. I didn't put all my weight on it, just so it's down. And that's it.
Cool.
Now you got a little button. It's straight. You can wear it. Okay. So that's simple. So if we ever get into making buttons for, like, say the soccer club or whatever, you know, we would need some people who, if we had to make like 50 of these, I don't think it would take all that long, but there is some work involved in it to make 50 of these. But I was hoping to try to make these for Academic Decathlon and maybe sell them, or maybe another. You know, that's what I need to make money. So, but anyway, that's kind of where we're at. Questions?